A gendarmerie or gendarmerie is, in principle, a military force charged with police duties among civilian populations. Members of such a force are typically called gendarmes. The shorter Oxford English Dictionary describes gendarme as a soldier who is employed on police duties, and a gendarmerie, erie as gendarmes as a body. Modern civilian police forces may retain the title of gendarmerie for historical reasons. Etymology: the word gendarme comes from the Old French gens d'armes, meaning men-at-arms. During the late medieval to the early modern period, the term referred to a heavily armored cavalryman of noble birth, primarily serving in the French army. The word gained policing connotations only after the French Revolution, when the Mara copyright Chaucer copyright E of the Ancien Ra copyright Gime was renamed the gendarmerie. Historically, the spelling in English was gendarmerie, but now the French spelling gendarmerie is more common. The Oxford English Dictionary uses gendarmerie as the principal spelling. Merriam-Webster uses gendarmerie as the principal spelling. Title and status: these forces are normally titled gendarmerie, but gendarmeries may bear other titles, for instance the Carabinieri in Italy, the Guardia Nacional Republicana in Portugal, the Guardia Civil in Spain, or Internal Troops National Guard in Ukraine. As a result of their duties within the civilian population, gendarmeries are sometimes described as paramilitary rather than military forces, although this description rarely corresponds to their official status and capabilities. Gendarmes are often deployed in military situations, sometimes in their own country, and often in humanitarian deployments abroad. A gendarmerie may come under the authority of a Ministry of Defense, a Ministry of the Interior, or even both at once. Generally there is some coordination between a Ministry of Defense and a Ministry of the Interior over the use of gendarmes. A few forces which are no longer considered military retain the title gendarmerie for reasons of tradition. For instance, the French-language title of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police is Gendarmerie Royale du Canada because this force traditionally had some military-style functions and because until the 1960s it retained an honorific status as a regiment of dragoons. The Argentine Gendarmerie is a military force in terms of training, identity and public perception, and was involved in combat in the Falklands War. However, it is classified as a security force, not an armed force, to exercise jurisdiction over the civilian population under Argentine law. Since different countries may make different use of institutional terms such as gendarmerie, there are cases in which the term may become confusing. For instance, in the French-speaking cantons of Switzerland the gendarmeries are the uniformed civil police. In Chile, the word gendarmerie refers for historic reasons to the prison service, while the actual gendarmerie force is called the carabineros. In some cases, a police service's military links are ambiguous and it can be unclear whether a force should be defined as a gendarmerie or not. Services such as the Italian Guardia di Finanza would rarely be defined as gendarmerie since the service is of an ambiguous military status and does not have general policing duties amongst the civilian population. In Russia, the modern internal troops are military units with quasi-police duties, but historically, different bodies within the Tsarist Special Corps of Gendarmes performed a variety of functions as an armed rural constabulary, urban riot control units, frontier guards, intelligence agents and political police. Prior to the creation of the Irish Free State in 1922, British rule was based on the Royal Irish Constabulary, a drilled and armed force located in rural barracks that was in all but name a gendarmerie. In 2014 the Mexican Federal Police, a heavily armed force which has many attributes of a gendarmerie, created a new seventh branch of service called the National Gendarmerie Division. The new force would initially number 5,000 personnel and was created with the assistance of the French gendarmerie. Role and services: in comparison to civilian police forces, gendarmeries may provide a more disciplined force whose military capabilities make them more capable of dealing with armed groups and with all types of violence. On the other hand, the necessity of a more stringent selection process for military service, especially in terms of physical prowess and health, restricts the pool of potential recruits in comparison to those a civilian police force could select from. They also provide a state with flexibility in policing, as the military regulations of a gendarmerie may exempt it from certain gaps in service affecting the civilian police, for example regarding the right to strike. In countries where the gendarmerie and civilian police coexist, there may be rivalries and tensions between the forces. This was one of the reasons cited for the decision to disband the Belgian gendarmerie, absorbing its functions into those of a new national police force. In recent years, 3 European countries, Belgium, Greece and Austria, have replaced long-established gendarmeries with civilian police forces having no military links or functions. In France, the gendarmerie has crowd and riot control units, counter-terrorism and hostage rescue, maritime surveillance, police at sea and coast guard, control and security at airports and air traffic police, official buildings guard, honorary services and protection of the president, mountain rescue and security of nuclear weapons sites. In Argentina, the Gendarmería Nacional Argentina can act as border patrol forces, defending and patrolling the land frontiers, anti-terrorism, VIP escort missions, hostage situations and special military operations in war times with their 601st Special Operations Squadron Alacron, which took part in the Falkland-Malvinas conflict.